Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Fix the Risk by Hive Pro. I'm your host for today, Prateek Bhajanka. Today, I'm delighted to have one of the notable banking cybersecurity leader with us today. Welcome, Mr. Ratan.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you, Prateek.
I would like to understand, Mr. Ratan, here is that I know you are someone who has lived through this journey of transformation of cybersecurity and the transformation of the role of a CISO. So, how do you see that the role of a CISO has evolved or changed from your experience?
Yeah, as you rightly said, Prateek, that earlier the era was of data security, which then moved to information security, which further moved to cyber security, and now we are saying this is AI security. So this is a era change. Earlier, this function used to be all about the IT, all about the technology. But today, your management and your board wants, as a CISO, that CISO should help organization or help bank in digital transformation, in the digital innovation. They also want CISO to enable the business. While the business enablement is the core function of CISO today, CISO also needs to manage the cyber risk and very importantly, managing the regulatory risk. So if I have to summarize, we have moved from the technology security to business security. And that is a sea change in my view.
So, do you sometimes see this objection or maybe a strong, opinion coming from the top that despite all the investment we are making in cybersecurity, breaches and attacks continue to happen? So, in those cases, how do you handle the situation, and how do you convince that no, despite it is the investment that is stopping the attacks which have not occurred so far?
See, your cyber security program that we talked about is dependent on the three things. Or the success of this cyber security program is basically dependent on three parameters. The first one is technology and tools. Today we have plenty of tools. I don't think there is a shortage of tools, and it is more than the required.
Yep.
So for any problem you have a tool. So while the tools are there, the second thing that is required for a good cybersecurity program is the visibility. So once we have the tools, we have the technologies, I think visibility is also today not a problem. Although different kind of diverse tools, their interconnectivity or how they talk to each other, that can be discussed. But the third parameter that is most important is the effective risk management. Now I have the tools, I have the visibility, but I have a number of problems to be solved. So if my risk management do not take care of what needs to be fixed first, it becomes ineffective. And I see that is the primary reason why breach do occur today.
Vulnerability management is one such tool that has existed for more than 25 years now. But these cyber attackers still continue to use known vulnerabilities that the scanner is able to identify, and we as organizations also know about, and they continue to use these known vulnerabilities to launch attacks. So, why do you think this is happening? Why are the known vulnerabilities still the reason behind large cyber attacks?
So there are plenty of scanners. Again, the problem is which scanner to choose. But what these scanners essentially do, they will give you some score, like CVSS score. And this score, although there are different parameters that is used to derive the CVSS score, but again, this is unidimensional.
Yeah.
What today you need, that what is threat to your business? And business threat cannot be unidimensional. You need to add the asset criticality, your business context, most importantly, the threat intelligence. And threat intelligence should be selective. A common threat intelligence cannot be applied to a organization.
Sir, would you want to double click on threat intelligence should be selective? Because that looks like a very interesting point.
Now, suppose a threat intel that has impacted uh, in a foreign country, that may not impact India. Even in India, a threat intel that has gone to some industry, that may not be applicable to banking industry. And even within the banking industry, each bank are different. And within that subset of the bank, also your business model is different. So unless this context is built, threat intel would not be effective. So your cybersecurity program should measure the effectiveness of threat intel that you are using. You are applying thousands of IOCs, but are those IOCs helping you? Are you measuring their effectiveness? If not, perhaps you are doing some mistake.
Great point. I think because one of the biggest challenges with threat intelligence has always been that it's not contextual. It's very generic and organizations are not able to use it. So this selective threat intelligence will cut a lot of noise and give you that intelligence which can be then translated into action. Great point. I mean, that's my biggest takeaway, Mr. Ratan, from this podcast for sure. I was also making notes that threat intelligence, selective threat intelligence is key to transforming vulnerability management.
Now, coming back to your original question, so you asked that why the scanners are failing, and so scanners today are unidimensional. As I said, they they are giving us a CBSS score, but they lack the business context, the asset context. They are not able to do attack path validation, and they lack threat intel that as I said. Beside that, they are they are not aware of your business model.
Yeah.
So unless I add all these, my threat management program is ineffective. My exposure management program is ineffective. And that is the reason, even though we know that this vulnerability is existing for 10 years, but still you will see some exploit today because they lack the real context, real multidimensional context.
Right. So severity only gives you one dimension. Another set of dimensions have to be added to severity to get the right context to make it actionable. So would you say, all these multi dimensions that you just spoke about, it feels it's very similar to what Gartner came up with called CTEM, Continuous Threat Exposure Management. So what's your thought on, taking the journey from vulnerability management to CTEM, and what are the best practices you would like to share it with the community?
So as I said that today any threat management program is unidimensional and it is point at time. So they tell you that how many weaknesses are there in your system, but they do not tell you that how your business is exposed to.
Yeah.
Real value is someone telling you that how your business exposure is there to this particular threat. And for that, CTEM is the evolving technology. Rather than evolving technology, that is a natural progression, I will say. Now, the moment I am scanning and I have multidimensional and all the feeds, whether that is from the dark web, that is from Sodan, that is from my industry peers, that is from the regulator, everything is correlated in the real time matter. And then you add business context to it, your visibility increases many, many times. So in short, I will tell that CTEM is a natural progression of our threat management program that we are having right now.
Amazing. So CTAM is the natural progression of any organization's vulnerability management program, which takes the security program to the next level of maturity. Would you say that?
That is right.
Oh, amazing, amazing. As you are a Hive Pro customer and you understand Hive Pro focuses on continuous exposure management, so during your journey, what capabilities that stood out and what challenges of correlation, real time correlation, selective threat intelligence, faster exposure management is how is the platform solving the problem, or if you'd like to share your inputs on it.
So we have a lot of tools, and our cyber defense system is highly correlated. Uh, but what CTEM has added is that they have increased the business context. That is number one benefit that we have derived from Hive Pro CTEM. So business context, there is no tool that will give you complete business context, but CTEM has increased the context awareness. The second thing that they have added is they have given us the ability to decide that which problem is to be attacked first. And I think that is the biggest advantage of using Hive Pro. So now we are able to today what is happening that any analyst will have hundreds of alerts to act upon. That is overwhelming. So some tool or system should tell you that no, you attack this first, this can be ignored, this we can attack later. So setting the priority, that is the biggest advantage with the tools like Hive Pro. And I think we are getting benefit out of that.
Amazing. So helping you prioritize which exposure area to go after first is what you are getting out of it.
It aids in the decision making. Now, the analyst is not required to ask that which problem I should solve first. He has a natural choice. He will say that this is a threat to my business, this is dangerous to my business, so I will do this first and others can follow.
And is it real time or is it retrospective?
It is real time. It is real time. If it is not real time in today's AI era, I think the cybersecurity program would not be that effective.
Right. No, absolutely. And I'm just going back to one of the words that you mentioned earlier around selective threat intelligence. So, do you see the platform helping you with selective threat intelligence?
Yeah, if your context is well defined, if you are able to tell the tool that what is your business context, what is your business model, what is your architecture, what is your crown jewels, yes, then this type of tool will help us in knowing that what intelligence I should rely more upon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ratan. This was an insightful session and really appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's how busy it gets when you are the head of cybersecurity for a large, fastest growing bank in the country. Thank you very much once again.